Welcome back to Marvel Maniac and MCU After Show. This is your host, Eric Cicada, aka Mr. Honest, back with Daredevil Born Again, a double feature, episode 5 and 6. Episode 5 with interest and excessive force is the 6th episode, and I can kind of see why they put these two together. They're very plot heavy, but that does not mean they're bad. And we'll talk about that a little bit. You know, there's a lot to cover, and I don't want it to go too long. I figured since you both most likely watched them together, I watched them together, and that's why this is a combined episode, just like basically they did on their release. I think that's was a better way in my mind to process it, but I did watch both episodes in a row, and now I'm here, so I didn't do one and the other, so I'm caught up. And yeah, these two episodes were like on a different kind of energy, I'd say, than the last few. And we finally, at the end of the episode, at the last hour, the last chance, we get to see Daredevil in his super suit, and it's red, and it's awesome, and he looks great. And we get to see him swinging and running across rooftops. We've been waiting for this any bit longer. I was even saying to myself, if he doesn't get in that suit by the end of this episode, I'm gonna be singing a different tone on this podcast. But it's so expected, and there's only a few episodes left, so it's important to get him back in the suit. But what I really appreciate in the long run, and a binge watch especially, this is Daredevil. Matt Murdock is Daredevil. Daredevil and Murdock are one. Matt fights against dirty cops as Matt Murdock. Matt Murdock is a brave guy. I don't know if he's ever going to let his identity loose, but probably not, because, for example, every time he's like talked about that, he doesn't want to put people he loves in danger. Technically, why he took the mask off and stopped being a superhero in the first place. There was a lot of emotional highs, layered storytelling. There was always. I'll just say it like this. I didn't really lose attention or get bored with any bit of this episode. But looking back at it, thinking how there was only that fight at the end, it just goes to show, I think the show's just got a hold of itself, and it knows what it needs to do to make the final episodes pay off. And I damn well say the end of episode 6 was great payoff for a lot of things. Oh, and do I have a theory for you? I have a theory for you, and this is an original theory, and I got to get it out there. I got to get it out there right now, because it's the beginning of the episode. I'm not going to wait. I'm going to tell you right now, okay? This whole episode was centered, the last one at least, around Muse, and people discovering how he uses blood for art and puts it on everything, and art. I just heard the word art, and then I'm like, art. And we're going to go through this whole episode, but you know who I know who loves art, who's kind of going through a bit of a relationship issue right now? Oh, yeah, it's Vanessa, Mrs. Fisk. She loves art. And that guy that Wilson has captive, I honestly am predicting that guy was somebody Vanessa threw under the table. And this guy, Muse, is totally backed by Vanessa. He may be rich. I don't know what his motive is. I think he just loves art, and so does she. And I think that connects them. If not, it will. But I don't like, coincidence, my friend. The way she described the guy is so forgettable. I'm sorry, the man with the beard who died in this episode. God, I'm so sorry, but at the same time, I don't think that was the real lover. I think Muse was the real lover, or is still the real lover. And she's lost herself in it because she is taken aback by art, beautiful art, and the fact that he uses blood, she might even like it. I'm not going to dig any more into this theory. I'm just going to let it settle, because we don't know anything yet, and it's just a theory. And I really like the shift and tone change between the two episodes. Both great episodes, and both very much their own. Episode 5 definitely felt like your classic Daredevil crime thriller. I was expecting him to maybe put the suit on during the bank robbery. I'm just saying, there's an opportunity there. But we gotta... The fact that we're seeing so much Matt Murdock in action tells me basically one thing is that we're going to be seeing a lot of him in that suit, maybe so much to where we'll be like, when was the last time he was doing Matt Murdock things? But this show really builds it up similar to the season 1 of Daredevil, where Matt is fighting crime, but he's fighting it, in a with like average superhero costume. He doesn't get his thing until the end. So this episode, the one where they fight and he gets suited up, I know everyone's been waiting for, but I think I actually do think the show is still very good up until this point. And I say that because I just sense it. There's going to be some complaints about that. And personally, I try not to hear that stuff and let it influence my episodes. One thing I truly, absolutely wish I didn't do was click this YouTube video about Muse and the comics. And I'll only say that it's just very this episode was very comic book accurate. And if I didn't see any of that stuff, this would have probably made my stomach drop when I heard about the using the blood and then thinking back to all the graffiti since the first episode, and they're still discovering it. And 60 people are thought dead. It's like, oh my goodness. And then nobody's there to save these people. White Tiger's gone. His niece is really deciding to do this on her own. And I'm just talking about episode 6. Let's go episode by episode now and break it down. Episode 5, titled With Interest. It opens with Matt and Fisk. Something they've been doing a lot of this series. They've been doing sequences like this, which I very much appreciate. I don't think it's over the top. I think any more would be. And they're mirroring it. They really want us to notice that Matt and Fisk are two sides of the same coin. Matt sharpening his skills, Fisk indulging in a quiet, sinister dinner while keeping Vanessa's lover prisoner. Vanessa is attempting to unify the crime families, like we've seen. This has been kind of like the underlying story. So she's definitely playing a deeper game. And there's a St. Patrick's Day setting in this episode, which I really like. Even the bank robbers are Irish, symbolic of saints, sacrifice, and rebirth. And we know Matt is a big, devout Catholic. And the reason he doesn't kill is because he's Catholic. Matt visits a bank, and we don't know until a few minutes in that Kamala Khan's dad is the banker. And, it made me realize that Miss Marvel, I can almost call her Captain Marvel so often because they're similar. But I very much like Miss Marvel. I like the show. That's going to be a show we're going to be covering very soon. Stay tuned for that. And Kamala Khan's dad, one of the most wholesome characters in the series, may I even argue the MCU. It's the perfect blend of heart and MCU crossover with Daredevil meeting him. It's just even these small world occurrences. This is what the Marvel Cinematic Universe is about. These crossovers with small characters or big characters. But a small character, it'll make their character even better when you find them in their original series. And the dad has a story about how him and Daredevil, the superhero, stopped a bank robbery. I mean, it's great. And the boldness of the MCU to start doing stuff like that again, I got a great feeling they're starting to take chances and they're starting to really realize where they were maybe not performing, in certain areas. This is one of the greatest film franchises of all time. And Daredevil Born Again is a great example. Same with Agatha All Along. Disney Plus on TV has been good this year. I guess Agatha was last year. Now time is flying by. Well, I think they're putting the extra effort into it to make it right to us fans. That's all I'm saying. And for those of you upset about the build up to him getting that suit back on, I'm with you every step of the way. I have in my notes maybe 50 times, suit up time, yeah, maybe not. But it's all for good reason. It's all to let us know what Matt's going through, to be with Matt, in Matt's head, a human being, not just a superhero, trying to find a reason to not go back. And he gets not really dragged back into it. What we get is a language warning, fuck it. And, he decides to do it. I jumped ahead again. This show, see, I have notes, I have an outline with this episode. Let's just say it, I'm unfiltered and I'm excited about how good it was. And I'm referring to it as one episode, but both episodes in that sense. Very different episodes of a TV show. They leave me feeling very fulfilled as a fan of Marvel, a fan of Daredevil, and it makes me excited to see where the next few episodes are going to go. I think there's 9 episodes, but there might be 10. and I always forget to look. But I don't want any spoilers right now. I want to stay in the mindset of this episode real quick. He does mention, Mr. Khan, that Kamala is in California with friends. Now, I know, right? Okay, she's just going to, see Hollywood a little bit, right? She wants to see a little bit of the other side of the country, and no big deal. No. My theory is that she's forming or already formed the Young Avengers. We're going to get very surprised by that. Kamala Khan is so competent. We've seen her as the Nick Fury in the post-credit scene for the Marvels, which I haven't talked about here yet, which is what we're going to be building to, I think, in our next free time. We're going to do the Marvels Miss Marvel into the Marvels, and we'll make it a whole little 2-week. It depends on if I decide to go episode by episode for Miss Marvel. What do you think? MarvelManiacPod@gmail.com. How would you like to see me cover Miss Marvel? Would you prefer a longer episode, just going over all the episodes as a whole, or me going episode by episode, week to week, and as a rewatch for all of us? Your words, your opinion matters. Please let me know what you think. And MarvelManiacPod@gmail.com. All right now. I'm excited to hear mention of another Avenger. You know what? Even if Daredevil never joins the Avengers, he has almost enough cred to still be as awesome because he's such a kick-ass hero. Suddenly there's a bank robbery, and it's after Matt left because he was getting a loan, which he was denied for his law firm. But this Irish crew, each in a different colored mask, they start to rob the bank, and it escalates very fast. Mr. Khan sneaks to help, and Matt eavesdrops from the street. He can hear everything pretty much, and he doesn't enter as Daredevil. This is where I thought he'd come back as Daredevil. He pretends to just be a blind man, which he is, but isn't. He doesn't need all the blind man stuff, but it's his disguise in a way. He's so capable. So we're seeing Matt use his brain, because if he runs in there with Daredevil, let's be real, the hostages aren't going to make it through that. What kind of lawyer are you? A really good one. That was literally quoted when he was talking to, I believe it was Mr. Khan, and that reference to Spider-Man. That's exactly what he says, right? To Spider-Man? What kind of lawyer are you? A really good one. I love that. It's like his little catchphrase now. Lil. I don't know why I say Lil. Anything that's on Disney Plus, I give it a Lil. It's honestly more worthy than being Lil Daredevil. But, it's not meant to be demeaning. So Matt outsmarts and takes out these robbers pretty much one by one without ever suiting up, which is that's pretty badass. I mean, come on. That's just really cool. He can't be like Looney Tunes and switching in and out of costume. He doesn't have nanotech like Tony Stark. He's just a guy in a suit. And his suit today just so happens not to be a superhero suit. It's just a regular suit. And I kind of admire how he takes advantage of that and uses it to his, to his power, really to get this under control. Okay, Better Call Saul fans definitely will recognize Mrs. Kettleman. She's the lady who, in my mind, she's sitting on the far left on the floor for most of the episode. She escapes by the end with what she thinks is this gorgeous diamond, but it's butterscotch candy. So she was tricked. She was in on it or something. I that might have gone over my head. I want to rewatch. I rewatched last week's episode, and I honestly, from moment beginning to end, I was just so into it, and I think I might rewatch them every week just because they're so fun. I love being in the MCU. I'm like, I miss it here. I feel comfy here in Daredevil. Daredevil's one of my favorite shows, and it's actually in the MCU now. It's just a comfy feeling, I don't know how many people out there are referring to superheroes as comfy, but you know what? That's just me. I have a Thanos Build-A-Bear, and he can't talk anymore, but I still love him just as much the day I got him. And if my room were a Toy Story situation, I don't have many, but I do have a Thanos pop figure, a Tony Stark pop figure, Wind Waker Link from Zelda, Baby Grogu little stuffed figure. I got a lot of stuffed figures. My Thanos is in the closet right now, only because I was letting my dogs in here, and they shed. And also, they play with toys, and I don't want them to eat my Thanos. I like him a lot. I already had a really cool mug that broke a few years ago. Okay, we are officially off topic. This bank robbery is still happening, and Matt actually has the gem, and he outsmarts the thieves, the Irish thieves who are negotiating and whatnot through the episode. Pretty much don't take care of it the way that Matt does. One of my favorite parts was when Matt made that big loud noise just as the police were entering. He was trying to he's like, there it goes. He didn't make a loud noise, I'm sorry. He threw the gem up in the air at that moment, and then they busted through the doors. So he has the gem, and he leaves it in Mr. Khan's candy dish. And yeah, is that a setup? Is that like, okay, are we supposed to be like, oh, that Mr. Khan, he will give it back. He's so morally right about everything and not a human. Maybe he takes it. So there might be room for like a follow-up episode or something that follows into Miss Marvel, maybe a season 2 of that show where Daredevil comes and visits and says, hey, I know you took the gem. And I don't know. It's a way maybe for the characters to connect again in some way, somehow. Hey, anything's possible. I was not expecting that cameo. So he has such a pure heart, and I always actually love when he's on screen. The first thing I'm thinking of is him dressed up like the Hulk, not smelling. Maybe he's smelling like the Hulk, but he's looking like the Hulk, all in all green, and he wants to go with Kamala to the convention, but she wants to go alone. So sorry, I've seen it. I've seen the first episode a couple times. I'll tell you why. I was going through a tough period. First episode I watched, I'm like, nah, it's probably for kids. Came back to it about maybe a year and a half ago and watched it all and enjoyed it very much. So it was in between the time when I was taking time off out of the podcast. But I really like referencing Kamala because she is a big player, in my opinion, going forward. She is a young hero. She is smart, capable, and powerful, and really fun to watch on camera, interact with other heroes. She's the best of all of us, and as fans and an audience. So I think we're going to be seeing a lot more of her. Let's see if that Young Avengers gets announced. Maybe, I think at Screen Crush they even mentioned Young Avengers. It might not even be called that, but go over to the Screen Crush YouTube. They do podcasts now too. Free promo, yes, because Ryan came on and did my 100th episode. I'm going to tell you about it in every episode. And we talked about Thanos, okay? So we have like a silent contract to me having to advertise Screen Crush in every episode. I'm not. I just watch them a lot. I feel like a lot of my explanation / rhetoric would just probably come straight from them. And I can't discredit new rock stars. I had Ryan on the podcast, so I never talk about new rock stars. Like, I don't know if I'm allowed. Of course I'm allowed. Eric Voss is so great, and his team. I can't think of every name right now, but I really, really enjoy the new rock star videos too. So 2 great YouTube channels, Screen Crush, New Rock Stars. After you listen to your Marvel Maniac, obviously, you should go watch their videos of the episode. They'll give you more of an in-depth visual perspective. So yeah, moving on. We'll see more about Mr. Khan in the future. Maybe we'll learn a little bit more about that gem. But moving forward into episode 6, titled Excessive Force. And it opens with a recap of the serial killer Muse, whose artwork is made from blood. And it's creepy, and it probably smells funny. Something about me and smells. I can't smell anything in here. Like I don't smell a thing. Like, I'm just using that word a lot today. Not so funny though. Matt is morning foggy. We see like him going through a lot of like flashbacks at the beginning of the episode. Wilson Fisk continues building power, and he's trying to balance his public image with his violent instincts. And I felt that coming from like the beginning of the episode. If my theory about Vanessa is true, it'll probably, Wilson doesn't really care too much about what he does to people, I guess. But morally, maybe he'll regret keeping that guy in the cell if it comes to be true that Muse was Vanessa's lover. We'll see about that though. I'm pretty proud of that theory, even if it's not true. I like what the show's doing, so wherever it goes. I don't know what happened to Muse. We'll get there because let's get through this up. It's not like get through. We got to get through it. I want to talk to you about the ending fight, but let's talk about like the meat of this episode. I had a lot going on. Johnny from sanitation discovers that the mural is made of blood. He couldn't get it off. He was hired to get rid of this painting, and it's made of blood and like something else that it makes it stay on there. It's hard for them to get it off. I don't know what he's doing. And is he like mixing the blood to make whites and colors and stuff? Because he makes a lot of different colors. I'm assuming he does. Instead of water, he'll just use blood. Ugh. That is disgusting. And I think that's the point. We see again returning this week the niece of the White Tiger, Angela, who is completely still shaken up about the death of her uncle. And she truly believes that her uncle was onto something bigger before he was killed. Maybe that's why he was killed. Muse could have been the thing. And I think that's what she was looking toward. I mean, she had good instincts. You know, was he going for Muse or was it Vanessa? I can't shake the theory. Okay, let's just keep it by what we know in this episode. He was onto something, and she knows it, and she warns Matt, "You're not standing up for the little guy." It's not like he's obligated to go get up. She doesn't even know he's Daredevil, and she's telling him to do something. I mean, there couldn't be any more signs from the universe that's just telling Matt to put the suit on. Muse has so like when the police chief is walking into Fisk's office, right, and he says 12 confirmed blood murals, estimated 60 victims. That's more than technically the Avengers, because they played that number down really low, and it's the only canon number we got. I know it's low. 60 victims. That's insane. And under everyone's nose, nobody cares. It's true. Angela's right. So she goes to search underground in these train tunnels alone. And Matt finally says, fuck it, and puts the suit on after Cherry tells him about the situation with the serial killer. Now, the ending fight here, the ending sequence, it's very interesting. They could have just taken Matt. The first episode was the only episode in the whole series we didn't see any Fisk. So that's not normal. So that episode of what he was doing, you know, with the bank robbery and all that, is just kind of like a great standalone episode. And I find that interesting because we did learn a lot about Fisk in this episode. And I do like those parallels. These intense fights. Muse does provide and prove to be a decent fighter, but Matt overwhelms him. And also Matt fights with his heart. And when he sees that girl laying there and knows she's there, he's listening to her heartbeat. He's reminded of Foggy and how he couldn't save him, I'm assuming. And meanwhile, while this is happening, Fisk gives the prisoner an axe and tells him to kill away. Basically, Fisk is like, it reminds me of let him have his fun in Infinity War. That was a decent impression. When Thanos beats the crap out of Hulk. I got to bring up Thanos at some point. Sorry, guys. Just after Daredevil takes down Muse, an extraordinary visual sequence, a fighting sequence that I'll go back and watch 5 times this week because I've been waiting for this. And it was so good, and you can't tell me otherwise, even though it was a really long time since we've seen him in the suit. I'm trying to talk over you and maybe make you just just trick you into thinking that you're not mad. You're not mad, right? Did you like it like I did? Sometimes I'll be so off. And I'll say, this is so good, man. Everyone's going to love this. And then, everyone hates it. And I'm like, oh, well, at least I gave you my honest opinion. If it's worth anything, you could argue with me and be mad at me, and please don't take it out on me. Angela nearly dies, and I pray to God this girl's name is Angela because I took it down at one point and just ran with it. So Matt prays and listens, and he revives her. He listens around the tunnel, and then he revives her, makes sure he's safe, and then she's shocked. You're Daredevil. Fisk's is sitting above his victim, tired, blood on his hands, and symbolic of the blood he'll never get off his hands. He's always going to be a kingpin. And I'm ready for this full turn as Mayor Kingpin instead of just Mayor Fisk. I think he's going to take it to another level now that this happened. I mean, In a way, though, he used this guy as just like a proxy for his anger. So maybe, now he'll be good. I don't know. I don't think the therapist would have recommended that. I think it's so powerful when Angela is asking Daredevil, and it takes him a second, but he's like, I'm here. No, I'm here. Like, he's here. Like, I think that means he's back. He ain't gonna put down the suit no more. We're gonna be watching him kick some butt these next few weeks. Honestly, it looks like Muse definitely survived. Daredevil hung him. It looks like he was going to finish the job, honestly. But he needed to get to Angela. And it looked like he was just about to wake up. And in that case, what's he going to do? I mean, he can kind of fight. Like, is there going to be a backstory to that? Are we going to like have a part of episode where like we learn similarly to season 3, we learn of what's his name? Bullseye, his backstory, and how he became Bullseye, how he kind of dealt with his craziness, and I think I would like that backstory for Muse as well. I think we'll get something because Marvel likes definitely strong villains if they can bring them out, and I know it's not just Marvel; it's this great staff bringing people together, and yeah. So MCU impact and predictions. Kamal's dad's appearance hints at the timeline aligns with Miss Marvel's future storyline. So we might see her just where out in California next. It's a idea and it's happening. The young Avengers foreshadowing it's feeling stronger and stronger. And I could really, really go for another Avengers movie. I'll tell you that. Angela could become the new White Tiger or a future street level hero. She's very heroic, but she's very young. I don't know if she joined the Young Avengers as White Tiger, but it seems like she's around to help. She might need training and fighting and stuff. People just can't be superheroes, non-vigilantes. And sorry, I can't talk like him anymore, but I can kind of. He's awesome. And Vanessa's art connection might tie her to Muse. Was the affair a distraction? Yeah, I mean, that's my theory right now. Big time. I don't know why, but she seems to be just broken bad this season. She's not the same lady we've seen last time. And she's been trying to say that, but we haven't really been fully listening until now, have we? Fisk forming his anti-vigilante task force is huge. There's no body cams, overtime, his handpicked crew. That police sergeant is just disgusted. He is sickened with Mayor Kingpin. But signs keep leading forward and forward to Fisk breaking the rules under the table and going forward and being worse and worse, I see. Muse might be gone, but his impact on Daredevil's return to New York City is massive and amazing, and I don't think he's gone. I think he's got another arc, and we're going to get to know who he is, and I think there's more to his story, even if Daredevil brings him in, or I don't think he's dead. I think we got more with him. I just do. And what's more important, despite any of that, is that Daredevil is truly back now, and it's only going to get more intense and more awesome from here. My final thoughts on these 2 episodes: they brought everything we've been waiting for, from street level crime to political tension, emotional depth to brutal action. Born Again is finally showing its teeth, and I am taking a big old bite right along there with it. I'm sorry for talking like that. That's not how I usually talk. But I am very happy with this show right now. And even if it goes to 9 episodes, I'm pretty sure it could be 10, though. If it only goes to 9, I'm excited to see what they're going to do with these next 3 weeks. We're already in the latter half. That's what we know. And as a fan of Marvel, it's exciting. And to have you maniacs here with me to experience it is even better. Thank you for listening. Patreon.com/MarvelManiac. Join us. I'm going to post bonus episodes there. And it's going to be awesome. I just started last week, and it'd be great to see you guys in there, form a little community. And always rate the show and thumbs it up. If you can, it'd be the biggest help of all things. And it really does help us get into the algorithm. And we really want that. We want more Marvel Maniacs. Daredevil has given us a lot to ponder on this week, but I will still have an episode coming out this Friday. And we will see you then. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for listening, and until next time, Avengers, disassemble.